So when you're a student in a school every year, you come up here and you have to stand here and get talked about. This was Peony's chance to get even because she asked me to come up and talk to her, talk about her. So I thought I had two choices coming back. I could come back as a ghost and haunt the place, or I could come back as a grandfather. And I felt much more in tune with that, especially having Tamara and Brian up here, and just seeing the years go by. This is Peony's senior year, and she has the honor of certain students of ours in the past have had is she's number one in her class. She's also at the bottom of her class because she's the only senior yet. And when that's happened in the past, often that senior year is a very unique experience because it's just that particular person. It's really, things happen that are just right for them, and you don't have to include anybody else's reality. So this year, Peony had a very interesting senior year. Probably no one else has ever had a year like that. We ended up spending it together because we were together up in Oregon for the first semester, and we were living in another intentional community. It was a community that had been going around for 25 years, and it attracts people who have slightly different goal sets than people who are attracted to this community. And there we are, right in the middle. We're living with these people, we get to know them, they're wonderful people, but they have a different set of priorities to some extent, different ones, different ways. And I got to watch Peony work with that, just to see, oh, okay, not everybody lives like I grew up with in Ananda. People have different ways of being. And watching her just learn from that experience. And then things happened, so we ended up back here for her last semester in January. And the thing that I was so impressed with was watching how she took what she learned in the previous time and applied it here. And I was reminded of in India they have the swan called Hansa, is a good metaphor that's used. That's where Paramahansa comes from, that title. But the reason the swan is chosen is because the swan has at least the mythical ability to be able to sip a mixture of milk and water and only draw in the milk and to filter out the water. And that's what I felt when thinking of a reward for Peony, because I felt that she was able to go through this whole year and look for what's the best, what works the best in life, what values really bring a more sense of lasting expansion and happiness, and then choose them and to pursue them in her choices. So she spent lots of this year studying yoga, Bhagavad Gita, various things, and just kind of drinking it all in. She's going to go on to college. The college is Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, right? Where's Cornell coming?
It's next to Cornell.
It's next to Cornell. Okay. Anyway, and the idea is to pursue. Well, yoga is applied to a restorative type yoga where you have a chance to learn. She's going to learn all about major again. Physical therapy, and it would be fascinating because she probably knows quite a bit of things that her teachers aren't going to know already. She's going to bring that in. I think she had a conversation with professors there and asked him what he thought of yoga, and he said, "Stretching is good for you." So I think it'll be great for her. She'll be able to learn from them, but hopefully they'll be able to learn from her. So the award tonight for you is for discrimination.
integrity, love of learning, dedication to Dharma, self-assurance, initiative, authenticity, lightheartedness, adherence to excellence, and discrimination. These are some of the qualities that I have developed in the past 10 years. And when I look back, I realized that every year that I was given a quality, that was the quality that I most admired in my teacher. And so that encouraged me to develop it. They are the ones who recognize qualities in us that we don't even know we have yet, and then draw them out and nurture them. I only found out less than 2 weeks ago I had to give this speech. No, I'm kidding. I've done it for the past 10 years. I've been waiting for this moment. I've sat through 10 graduations. I've watched my friends, my role models, graduate and go on to do great things. And also I've watched all the children here. I'm just so inspired by all the qualities that we have here, and that the teachers can see that in them. And I mean, it's wonderful, all the things we've heard today already. So when my siblings and I were younger, one of the only movies we were allowed to watch was The Sound of Music. And we watched it over and over and over again, and we knew all the words, the lyrics, the songs, and the dances. But one thing that really stuck out to me as I grew older was this line that Maria said towards the beginning of the movie. Maria is a young nun in a convent, and she was just sent away against her will. She wasn't really sure what was going on, but she said, the Reverend Mother always said, when the Lord closes a door, somewhere He opens a window. And I found that to be really true in my life, and also, even if it's not, it's a great way to look at life. Before I came to the US and to this school, I was living in Hong Kong with my family. At that time, my older brother and sister were both going to an international school where they taught in English, in continental English. And so, at that time I was 5 and just out of kindergarten. So my next step was, my parents wanted me to go to that school. But I had to take an exam, an English exam to get in. So I remember going into a classroom and there's a teacher and she started asking me all these questions in English, and I was like, I knew I should do well because my mom had told me this is important. But later we found out, I tried my best, but later we found out that I had failed the English test. And so I wasn't admitted to the school both my older siblings were at. And that was kind of the turning point. That was my closed door, and that's what led me to my open window to here, because that was the turning point of when my parents had already been thinking about, a more holistic education for us, and that led us to come to the U.S. to look at some homeschooling programs, and also we came to this school somehow. And from the first moment I walked into Nirani's classroom, after I lined up my shoes perfectly against the wall, if you're in her class, you would know that's important. And I was just in awe because I'd never seen so many happy faces. I'd never seen such an uplifting classroom. I knew I wanted to be here, and my siblings knew too, and so Swami said that, Swamiji said that the maturity, the definition of maturity is to be able to appropriately relate to the realities of others. And we started learning that from the very beginning. In second grade, I remember during recess, one of my classmates was rollerblading and she fell and she scraped her knee. And so we were all, gathering around, trying to help her. And Nirani was cleaning her up, and then one of my classmates said, "Oh, that's not half as bad as my scrape from last week when I fell off my bike. And before, once you get that going, then kids can keep on saying, like, oh, but then remember last year I did this and this. But then Nirani was just really firmly, calmly, very kindly. It's like, when somebody is hurt, it doesn't help to talk about yourself. And what we can do is try to take care of her, show that we love her, maybe try to cheer her up. And this is a lesson that I think even a lot of adults don't have yet. And I haven't, like you can, and right now I'm like going into yoga therapy, and I always remember this, and I always remember that day, how it was just so amazing that we were in second grade and we were learning about kindness, compassion, about caring for others. So in sixth grade, for one of our classes, we went outside, which happens a lot at this school, and we did a nature awareness exercise where we learned about periphery vision. So we look forward and bring our arms out slowly and try to keep our hands in view until we could just barely see them. And that was our periphery vision. And so we were at the top of going down to St. Francis Pond. So while we kept this periphery vision, we had to focus on our direction getting to St. Francis Pond. But also, if you've been on this trail, it is not an easy trail. So we also had to make sure plan our every step. And at the time it was fun, but later I realized, this is really what it takes to succeed, to these 3 steps to get things done that you want to do in this life. And I think that my education here really has been about developing these 3 skills of having a direction, a focus, also, and then being able to know what the next steps are to get there, and then being receptive, not just from what's outside, but also especially what you're feeling inside. And the great thing about our teachers is they can see what we need at this right moment and help us to kind of jumpstart whatever quality we need. And so during my education here, those 3 things have been not really in balance. And so I like to call these 3 skills kind of like the tripod of success. And I just want to share some ways that my teachers helped me to develop these strengths. In 7th and 8th grade, I was probably one of the shyest, quietest, kind of just watching everybody, that kind of person. And so I didn't really have any goals, or I didn't really know where to go. And then in 8th grade, Willow came in and taught us yoga. And it was just 45 minutes a week. But those 45 minutes really changed my life. From then on, it's like, wow, I found what I like to do, and what this yoga practice really empowered us girls. And also, Will was a great example. So thank you so much, Will. When I teach now, I still think about how he taught and what I can bring into each practice. And then in 9th grade, I knew that I wanted to learn more from Willow, but I wasn't really sure how to ask, what to do, if I actually wanted it. So then I went to Hridaya, and I said, I'm really inspired by Willow's classes, and I want to work with her more, but I don't really know if I do. I don't know how. And she just made taking initiative sound so easy. She said, well, why don't you ask Willow if she'd be willing to meet with you once a week during elective time. It's like, oh, okay, I can do that. And so I asked her, and so then we met once a week, and that really gave me the courage to then also share it. So during the second semester of 9th grade, I taught actually 3 classes a week, at the grade school from 2nd to 6th grade. I can't say that they're the best yoga classes I've ever taught, but I was starting to get out there, and that kind of momentum of taking initiative, making things happen, got going. And from there, I mean, that summer I was like, oh, I want to take yoga teacher training, the real thing. And so that summer I took the first half, and then it was amazing. I learned so much. And then during the fall of 10th grade, my teacher supported me in going and finishing it. And after that, I continued to teach more. And let's see. So by the end of 10th grade, I had really, had that confidence and willpower, and I felt like if I could concentrate on that goal, and I know how to take the steps there now, I can accomplish anything. And so I decided to focus on music, because I've been playing violin most of my life, and I really love it. And so I went to Interlochen Arts Academy in Michigan to kind of pursue that. It was challenging, because after a year, it was fun, but after a year I realized that, I had the goal, I was making the steps, I was practicing hours every day, but I had forgotten the third important step, which was to be receptive. I wasn't being receptive to who I really wanted to be, how I wanted to share with the world, what the world needed from me. And so by the end of that year, I came back, and the school had, not done something else, and I was coming back, and I decided to, Nita invited me to be at the college in Oregon, and we were planning on going to India and Italy in the second semester, and so I was, wow, that's amazing, I'm going to travel. So I went up there, and it was different, but I think it was one of the most important things I've experienced, because I had, while I was in that community that he was describing, I really had to test everything that I've learned so far. And then things got kind of rough, and then the college closed, and we weren't going on the trip anymore. That was kind of what I was holding on to, and then it was gone. But I remembered that by now, that when a door closes, the window opens. That was so strongly in me that I didn't give myself the time to be upset, because that doesn't really help anything. And so I was like just too excited to jump out that window. So I came back here, and instead of going out to travel kind of all out here, I got to come back and work in here. I've been in the yoga therapy training now for 6 months, and during these, or 4 or 5 months, but during this February to now, I will have taken 9 intensives with the expanding light, doing yoga therapy principles, seniors and bone strength, restorative yoga teacher training, and right now I'm actually in the middle of a class, advanced pranayama with Ananda and Diksha. I'm glad I got a free evening tonight so I could come. And let's see, I really have grown in ways I just cannot imagine this year. Just learning more about myself, what I want to do. And while I wasn't taking these intensives, I kept pretty busy. I got the privilege to work with 3 amazing people. The first being Peony. You showed me that it's possible to be willing and enthusiastic all the time. And it was there that I developed discipline and joy. because most mornings we got there at 6:30, milk the goats, all that, the whole process until the job is done, which is before lunch. But the great thing is, it's not like, oh, I have to do all this work. Everything is joyful. I mean, if you worked around animals, it's really amazing. I think the only time I was pretty down while I was at goats was I was having a lot of allergies, and so one day I was just at the milking the goats by myself, and I'm just sneezing, I couldn't really breathe, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. And then Lily, the donkey, just kind of walked up to the door. She looked so sweetly at me, like she could feel like I was, having a hard time, and then she went, and from there, it was great again. The second person I got to work with is with Benai at the jewelry store, Northern Lights. Benai, you're one of the most even-minded, able to concentrate, and uplifted person that I've had the privilege to work with. And while I was there, I would go there in the afternoon for 3 hours and make earrings. So he taught me, and then he would just give me a list, and then I would just make the earrings. And before that, I didn't even know I could concentrate for that long. 3 hours, I would just sit there and make it. And concentration is so important with everything we do. And so that was something I got to develop, and also just being with all the gems was amazing too. And the third person, actually, he came into my education a little bit later, just at the end of this semester. Prakash taught me English. He took time out of his busy schedule to meet with me once a week. And it's been more than English. You've helped me define that goal that I want. And it's spiritually, you're my guide. So thank you so much, not only for grammar, but that. And of course, to thank Kodaya. You've been there all this time. I like to think of you as Divine Mother. You're always there for tea party, talk, and walk, English, and me time. You played my grandfather in Mulan, and you're very much like God. So thank you. And then Irene, you're creative. I feel like you're like my creative crazy aunt. And Kamran is waiting. You have your crazy side. You have your responsible side sometimes. You're amazing with these kids. Thank you so much for continuing this school. And I guess you were my crazy uncle. And of course, I cannot end this speech without thanking my parents. My dad isn't here today. He's in Hong Kong, but he's not physically here, but he's on Skype. So hi, Dad. My dad and Mom are the most selfless people I know. They left everything to help support us being here for our highest growth. My dad, as much as he'd like to be here with us, he's in Hong Kong working to support us, and but Skype makes everything a little better. And it's really through my mom to stay here. She went to school for many years, full-time at Sierra College, as well as taking care of 4 kids. So that's pretty amazing if you've ever had to take care of kids or go to college. She did both at the same time and earned a degree. And now she's a graphic design. And I mean, those are just, you've just shown me how much I can continue to grow, to be more selfless, to love unconditionally, to be there just always for us and for everyone here. Along, and just your high example through your actions day after day is probably the best gift you can give to a child. So, of course, I love you both so much. Thank you. So in the fall, I will be off to Ithaca College in New York State to study physical therapy in a 6-year accelerated doctoral program. To become a physical therapist and a yoga therapist right now is my goal, my direction, and going there to get that education, my next steps. But I have all of you to thank to help me to become receptive to what's trying to happen, to my higher self, to the higher good of everyone around me. And I just want to close with a poem that was introduced to me first by Willow. In many ways, it's been my inspiration, my driving force. This is a poem by Marianne Williamson, an American spiritual teacher. And I think it really encapsulates kind of the most important lessons I've learned at Living Wisdom School and at Ananda. Oh, I want to say one more thing. It's been amazing to grow up in a spiritual community where everyone around me is my best teacher, and everyone's trying to see that higher self in everyone else, and everyone has that same goal for that inner freedom. And so I've learned that I cannot help others by being shy and closed off. Rather, the best thing that I can do and everyone can do for themselves and others is just to be in the light and to share the light. So, on with this poem. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking, so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.